Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Abrams, I'm not the only one who believes that you're the leading First Amendment lawyer in the country. You have, and you're not a member of my party either.
That's true, not yet.
I'd like the thought. We're very privileged to have you here today, and we're grateful to have you other witnesses as well. Now, Mr. Abrams, this is not the first constitutional amendment proposed to restrict political speech. This one, however, goes beyond what we have seen in the past. As far as I can tell, for example, Senate Joint Resolution 19 is the first one for the purpose of achieving what it calls political equality. Under this amendment, the government could constitutionally redefine political equality and decide whose speech must be suppressed or should be suppressed or allowed in order to achieve it. Isn't this at odds with America's entire history regarding government control of speech?
Well, it is. It gives enormous power to the legislatures, to Congress, and to the states to enforce the law. And I would assume that the courts would be very deferential to anything that those legislatures did. And that being said, while there might be an equal protection or other arguments made, I really believe that an amendment of this breadth would change substantially and in a irrevocable way, except another constitutional amendment, the whole nature of American society as a speech-protecting society.
Well, another difference is that this amendment will give the government authority to control not only money, but also what it calls in-kind equivalence.
Yeah.
Like the notion of political equality, this is something completely new. Now, it appears to me that the government will be able, or if this amendment passes, will be able to define this category however it wants, and therefore control of whatever, they'd be able to control whatever government wants. Now, how far do you think this new dimension of regulation extends, and do you expect there would have to be litigation to figure out how it applies?
Oh, there's no doubt of that. There would have to be enormous litigation. I mean, look, the reality is, how shall I say this to members of Congress here? If you provide the Congress or state legislatures with power, they're likely to use it.
Right.
And they're likely to use it in this area in a speech-destructive way. I mean, that's what this whole thing is about. I mean, I understand the argument of equality, that more people, few people have great wealth, that wealth gives more power, as has been said. But the effect of this amendment would be to embody into our law, by changing, substantively changing and limiting the First Amendment in a way in which, at the least, we're going to have years and years of litigation. But I fear worse, I don't mind that as personally, but what we are going to have beyond that is a significantly diminished ability to have the sort of ongoing confrontations at length that we have in our electoral process. I mean, 2012 election, in my view, was a good example of the system working. There was lots of money out there. There was lots of speech. People heard, sometimes more than they wanted to, but they heard the views of the parties and had a chance to vote. That's the way the system ought to work, and that's threatened by this legislation, this amendment.
In his prepared statement, Professor Raskin says that the Supreme Court's decision in Citizen United versus FEC eliminated the statutory provision, quote, that kept trillions of dollars in corporate wealth from flowing into federal campaigns, unquote. I think that's a misleading description of the case. As I read it, the Citizens United case involved a nonprofit organization, not a wealthy for-profit corporation, and the case did not involve campaign contributions at all. Am I right?
Yes, it didn't. It did not involve contributions at all, and it left standing the contribution sections.
Well, also, have we
law.
seen a flood of corporate wealth flowing into federal campaigns since the Citizen United Committee decision?
We have seen a lot of individuals giving money. That's where the big money has come from. We have seen an increase in the amount of money from what I'd call Main Street rather than Wall Street. What we've not seen is precisely what was predicted. We have not seen enormous sums, let alone trillions of dollars, from the biggest companies in America flowing into the electoral process. That just hasn't happened.
My time is up, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Senator Hatch.